Hello, my name is Professor John Benjamin, and this is Motion Graphics, and this is Lesson 2. So welcome. All right, so as usual, we'll go ahead and open up After Effects and create a new composition. You can click here or here, and we're going to call this. I'm just going to call it MG Color and Blur. You can really call it anything you want, something intuitive. And as usual, HTTV 1080 by 1920 by 1080 at 29.97. And let's just go ahead and get 10 seconds. And so just 10, 0, 0, and hit OK. All right, so today we're going to start with type again. So go to your type tool, and then type the letter H. Okay, choose a typeface that you like, and make it pretty large. Mine's about, let's do 400. Okay, that's pretty big. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this letter and spell out the word hello. So to do that, I can click on H right here and say duplicate. So I can say edit, duplicate. And it'll tell you here where the command keys are. So for me on a Mac, it's Command D. It's probably Alt D on a PC. So I'm just going to go ahead and click there. And then I have another H, and I can just drag it over. Now, if it gets out of hand, I want it to stay aligned. So when I drag it, I'm going to start dragging and then hold the Shift key. That way it stays nice and aligned. All right, and I'm going to type an E there. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to duplicate. You go to your selection tool, drag, hold the Shift key down so it stays in alignment. I'm just going to spell out hello. Okay, so we have hello spelled out here. And one of the things that it's good to do, if you're going to change the order, like I want to animate this in a different order, you want to reverse the order that you have here on the timeline. And to do that, you just click on the name, and you can just move it up or down. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to show you how to just stair step these. And so you can see here, each of these letters runs the whole 10 seconds, so nothing's changed. But I move my cursor down here, and I move this H here, the E here, and so on, stair stepping. And then I play that by hitting my spacebar. They appear as they appear. So you can see here, nothing appears. There's no time bars. And then as we come up, one time bar, and then the next. Then, of course, if you wanted them to disappear, you take the end of the time bar and you'd slide it over. And so here, the H appears and then disappears. I can do that to each of these. But that wouldn't spell the word hello, but just so you know. There you go. It's like they're walking. All right, cool. But I'm going to hit Command Z and put those back like this. All right, that's stair stepping. So what I want to do next is I want to have the H slide in. I'm going to move this over here, and then hit the E, so to speak, and then that'll make the rest of them appear. So what I'm going to do is I want the keyframe for H to be precisely where E starts. Okay, so this is where we use the I and the O key. So with whatever time bar you have selected, I will take you to the very beginning of that time bar, and O will take you to the very end. So you notice I have the E selected, and so I is taking me right to the beginning. But what I want to do is work on H. I just want to get my CTI exactly in the right position. Okay, so in H, I'm going to go ahead and open up. I want to change the position. Now before, in the last episode, I showed you that you can click and open all these up. But you can also, and this is the better way to do things because you're going to run out of room eventually, is to just go ahead and hit the P key for position. Now R is for rotate, S is for scale, and then it gets a little confusing for opacity. It's T, and T for transparency. But again, so that's S for scale, R for rotation, P for position, and T for transparency. Okay, but I want to change the position. So I'm going to go ahead and hit my stopwatch. And I want the position to change here, so I'm going to move this all the way back to the beginning and then add a keyframe. All right, and this is where I want it to slide in from. So I'm going to change the position here. So I'm going to slide it on the x-axis in the negative. Okay, cool. So then when it slides in, and it hits the rest. So let's play that through. All right, now notice the letters come in kind of slowly. So I want to pick that pace up a little bit. I'm going to slide them in together here a little closer. All right, we'll try that again. All right, that feels a little bit better. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is called motion blur. And I'm also going to show you how to use the keyframe assistant to make things that look like they have a little bit more life. So right now, this all happens kind of mechanically, mostly the movement at that H. It's moving at exactly the same speed. Okay, so let's change that a little bit. Before we do that, though, we're going to add a motion blur because you can see it's kind of choppy. It's just every frame you can see the H move over. All right, so how do we add motion blur? There's a series of switches here. We'll talk about the rest of the switches later, but right now, I'm just going to talk about the motion blur switch. And so notice if you ride your mouse over it, it'll tell you, motion blur simulates shutter duration. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and then play this through. It's got a little blur. See how nice and smooth that was? And it's just a kind of a faux thing. It actually has blur that's added to it, and that just helps our eye fill in those frames a little bit better. All right, so that's motion blur. The next thing I want to show you is the keyframe assistant. So if you select a keyframe, all right, so we're going to go to keyframe assistant. Now, there's two ways to get there. There's the easy way. I can click on this and right-click and go to keyframe assistant, or I can select that keyframe and go up to animation, keyframe assistant, and here's easy ease, ease in and ease out. All right, so the easiest thing to do right now is just do an easy ease. So I'm going to select the keyframe, right-click, keyframe assistant, and easy ease. Same thing with the closing keyframe. Keyframe assistant and easy ease. And you see the shapes of those two keyframes change to indicate that easy ease is applied to them. All right, so now let's try. Very nice, isn't it? So what happened is with easy ease, it eases in and then it eases out. So let's try that again. All right, it has a little bit more life to it. All right, excellent. All right, so the next thing I want to show you how to animate is color. Well, in text color specifically. All right, so we have the H coming in here, and then let's have it animate each of these letters as they appear. They'll change from black to a different color. All right, so actually we can probably start with the H. All right, so put your CTI here, close up position, and for this we're going to open up the whole H here. And under text, there's a whole bunch of different attributes that we can apply, but we're going to go to text and animate. If I click on this, what I want to change is the fill color, and I'm going to do it by RGB. All right, so now it automatically defaults to being red. So I'm going to change this right here, click here, and then change that to black. All right, and then I'm going to open up transform so I can slide to this spot right here, again lining it up. And then I'm going to animate color. I'm going to hit the stopwatch, then go back and add a keyframe. All right, then I'm going to go forward again because I want it to go from black to, let's say, orange. All right, move it up to orange. That looks pretty good. All right, so it's going to slide in. Boom. All right, and there you can see it's changed from black to orange. And here's the next little lesson. I don't have to keep these keyframes in the same place. What if I wanted to stay black for a little bit and then change about halfway through? So you can click and slide your keyframes up. So let's try that. There we go. Very nice. Okay, so close up your T and let's go ahead and animate the color on these other letters. So I'm going to open up the E, and I'm going to go to the in, hit the I, and open text. I guess I don't have to open text. Animates right there. We're going to say fill color RGB. All right, and we are going to change it from black. Slide it up. Oh, pardon me. Hit the stopwatch. Change it to black. And then move it up. Now, if you want to move it up a precise amount, you can hit Command left arrow. That's one keyframe. So Command left, left, left. You can count the keyframes, or you can hold Command Shift, and that'll go up 10 keyframes. So now I know I'm exactly at 10 keyframes. So I'm going to add another keyframe, and once again, I'm going to just change that to orange. All right, here's another really nifty thing you can do. You can select those two keyframes and hit Command-C or Control-C on a PC to copy. You can also say Edit, Copy. And then I'm going to close up 2 and open up 3, select 3, and hit Paste. All right, and so now that same attribute has now been just pasted onto the L there. So I'm going to close up number 3, open up number 4. You have to have the bar selected and hit Paste. And same thing, select the last bar and hit Paste and close it up. And so now all of that work was simplified. All right, now the timing of them is a little off. I'd like those to change just a little bit. So let's go ahead. I'm going to open up here, and that one I think I like, but I want it to be faster, so I'm going to move them closer together. For the L, same thing. Actually, for the L, I want it to be black right here, and then a little bit quicker. All right. Same thing with L2. There, and a little quicker. And same thing with the O. So everything moves along nice and snappy. There we go. All right, so that's how you can animate color on text using keyframes, and that's how you do motion blur. Okay, so for this exercise, just go ahead and save it. Command S to save. Go ahead and export it as a .mov.